Welcome to the School of Bliss podcast where we learn things that school didn't teach us. My name is Yani. I'm a professional life and financial coach. But in this podcast, I'm your classmate in learning about how to be happy, healthy, and super wealthy. Hi, guys, and welcome back to day 8 of our 21 days of bliss. Again, I just want to thank you if you've been here listening for the past 7 days. Thank you so much for supporting the relaunch of my podcast. And I'm really happy with the numbers that I'm receiving. I know I shouldn't be looking at the numbers. However, it's a direct feedback of how good what I do is. So I'm really happy. Again, we're still not on the top, but that's okay. I'm still happy to be creating videos and mini learning sessions for you guys. Grabe, parang I'm just on a high to create contents kasi, ewan ko ba, parang paggabi talaga grabe yung creativity ko in terms of creating contents. And yeah, recently we got to realign our goals for the contents with our manager, and I'm just excited to also put that out in May. But for now, I'll focus on the School of Bliss. Yes! Happy Saturday. Ay, shucks, sorry. Happy Saturday, by the way. I know that a lot of you are resting today. Pero I just wanna share this episode kasi this is something that I always talk about in my talks, and I realize I never really shared here on the podcast. So, ito na, i-share ko na, no, that if you were my classmate in college, you'll realize that I really had this mindset ever since. And because I received the best advice before entering college, and I took it to heart. Hindi ko na niresist and in-apply ko na lang agad sa buhay ko. So, before college, I actually got to talk to my cousin who was also an IE, a graduate of IE. And at that time, I think papasok pa lang ako ng college. Graduate na siya and working na. And that's why I took IE, because her father told me, yung tito ko, that IE is on demand and it's the only engineering course that don't require boards. And as a person who doesn't like going to school, yes, I self-proclaim that not a school goer. I really don't want to take yung mga exam, mga UPCAT, kung ano-ano, NMAT, kung ano, ay NMAT ba yun? Or UPCAT, USTET, yung mga ganon. And most likely, wala rin akong urge to take courses with board exams at that time. So, nung sinabi sa akin yun, talaga, wala siyang board exam pero magiging engineer ako. Sige. Tapos, nung sinabi nila na, boss nga daw, ng mga lahat ng engineering, yung IE, and mataas yung sweldo by multinational companies, I immediately said, okay, since wala pa naman ako napipiling course aside from supposed to be mass comm, sabi ko, okay, sige, mag-IE na lang tayo, no? And that's why I took IE, but my cousin at that time really gave me a good advice when I asked her if I should take IE. And she said that you don't need to get good grades. You need to be out there, join orgs, and learn leadership. And when I heard this, sabi ko, talaga, di ko kailangan ng good grades to enter a good company after college. Especially for IEs like me. So sabi ko, sige, I will not focus on getting good grades. Ayun po, no? So first sem pa lang may bagsak na ako. I think it was trigonometry. Hindi ko maalala yung prof doon. Pero naalala ko yung trauma. Pero also, no, dahil nga hindi ako magaling, kasi I have some pointers here because ayoko nung mawala yung kwento ko about this, because I had actually a pain in not getting a leadership role in high school. So twice naman akong, hindi naman kasi popular in high school, pero twice akong tumakbo ng student council, pero hindi ako nanalo. So, I have regrets, I have resentment towards leadership organizations. However, I heard this from my cousin and I said, you know what? No, let's try again in college. So, what I did in college, actually, I think on the first few weeks of my freshman year, automatic naghanap agad ako ng mga leaders at that time in engineering sciences, which is in first and second year ng mga engineering students. And nag-connect agad ako sa kanila and sabi ko, I wanna be a leader. Train me to become a leader. As in parang gano'n, na parang, how can I be part of this organization and lead this organization? Mga first first 2 weeks maybe of classes. I was really parang on point in looking for opportunities to actually grow in leadership. And ay kakatuwa lang kasi my pain in high school was kaya ko din maging leader. I'll prove to everyone that kaya ko maging leader. And I think that's a perfect combo to the right grit is to have resentment or regret in the past and also a really good advice. That when you combine it together, you'll create amazing things. So, yun yung parang napansin ko that instead of, sometimes we're put in a space that we wanna just stay in resentment or regret for the things that could have been or that we didn't get or we didn't experience. But it's also our personal choice to either be a victim of that or to use that as a motivation, to use that as an inspiration to, get to what you really want. Because in the same context of hardships and trials in life, life will really test you and tell you, gusto mo ba talaga to? Yun yung sinasabi ko kay Alec. I think he really committed in our sales agency, and I said, but after meeting a lot of clients, he still couldn't close a deal. And I said, it's not because life is telling you that it's not for you, but maybe life is asking you and challenging you are you really sure that you want this? Do you really want this? And luckily, thankfully, I had that mindset when I was in college. So, hindi na ako nag-antay pa ng elections or whatever. Hindi ko kasi alam kung may student council, and I don't even want to be part of the student council in college because I know there's so much politics. So I said, how can I just be part and leading this organization? So automatic, the president at that time, who I would consider one of my mentors in college, appreciated that act that I asked him and gave me a special role in the team, no? So ewan ko, nabibibuhan sila sa akin, tuwang-tuwa sila sa akin that they actually allowed me to grow in leadership. And so in college, I wouldn't say that I had a smooth sailing experience in terms of leadership. There was a lot of bad experiences talaga in terms of I guess at that time, that's the best way I know how to lead the organization. I became eventually a PRO when I turned second year, or ano ba ito? Basta sophomore yun, no? So when I became sophomore, naging PRO din ako of the organization. And then eventually, second year, I also looked for an organization where I can really grow in leadership. I remember, nung org fair ng UST sa Plaza Mayor, I joined around 7 orgs. I toured. Kasi parang may bayad yun. When you sign up, you pay 50 pesos. And I put all my money in joining the student orgs. Yung iba, hindi ko binayaran. Tapos sabi ko, check ko po muna sa orientation bago ako magbayad. And I actually went to all the orientation. Parang sumali ako sa drama class. Sumali ako. Singing lang ata yung hindi ko na sila. Dance organization. Sumali din ako sa radio. Ang dami, basta 7. And then there's ISEC, which is an international leadership organization. And at that time, di ko naintindihan na ni ISEC. Basta alam ko lang nag-English sila lahat dun. But I still joined. And sabi ko, when I got there, oh my gosh, sakto naman talaga yung mom ko, my friend, workmate, na yung anak niya nag-aaral din sa ISEC Ateneo or was a leader in ISEC Ateneo. And thankfully, that office mate of my mom advised her to ask me to join a leadership organization, which we didn't know was ISEC. So, nag-join lang talaga ako. And then, for me kasi, 'di ba, parang and then I grew in leadership there. And for me, college is really important, but if you're like me who felt lost in the first year or first 2 years of your college life and you feel like marami naman ganito talaga no, na sumali kayo sa course na hindi nyo naman talaga gusto but maybe at that time when you were applying, hindi nyo alam yung gusto nyong course. So, your parents either chose it for you or random kung anong available, yun na lang yung tinake ninyo. And that was me before. So, I said, you know what, kesa magdrama-drama ako that this is not what I like, I don't know what I like, ano na lang, I'll just learn things outside of the classroom. And so, and learn things that I'm interested in, which included leadership. Kasi nga meron nga akong resentment sa leadership, no? So, kahit na hindi siya relevant to my current course my course, which is BS Industrial Engineering, I made it sure that I will grow in leadership and learn leadership during my college days. And isa lang naman yung point ko at that time is that I wanna learn practical things that I will apply when I'm in multinational companies already. Sabi ko kasi ng pinsan ko, hindi ko alam kung same, no? Pero sa mga, never kasi talaga ako nag-apply for work. But, ang una daw tinitignan, yung transcript. Pero, gusto nila may experience ka kahit fresh grad ka. And that experience is ultimately the ones you get from organization. So my sister actually also got a good leadership role in her dance team. And when she started working, she got parang yung una niyang work is mataas agad yung bayad kasi meron siyang previous experience when it comes to leadership. So it's really an edge that you have or you joined organizations or you led in your previous organizations, in your college organizations, when you apply in a professional setting, no, in work. Okay. And according to John Maxwell, leadership is not just about the titles and positions. It's about one life influencing another. That's why initially, even when I was a first year student, I didn't have a role, I didn't have a position, but I was just there to learn, to help, to serve people in ES. ES is actually one of the biggest ano bang tawag doon? Parang group of, kasi so basically, in the engineering sciences, yung first year, second year ng mga lahat ng engineering students. So around 25 sections, 50 people per section yan. So, engineering sciences handles yung first year, second year. So it's really the biggest in the faculty of engineering in UST. And I was part of that. I didn't have a role, but my only goal is to help and serve those people. And until now, I carry that. No, I don't need position to even to start leading people, and that's what I want others to also realize, that yes, it's actually a really cliche that we say that leadership is not about the title, leadership is not about the position, but most often than not, we only take action when we are given positional, when we become positional leaders, or we are given titles for our position. And not that it's wrong, except if you really want to practice leadership, it's about just moving and just taking action, whether or not you have a specific role. And I always believe that I am a born leader dahil Leo ako. Leo, August yung birthday ko eh. So, Leo ako. Sabi ko, naturally born leader. So, I just accepted that. And so, every time I would be in certain positions, I would always take the lead. So, here are some points that I actually realized when I focused on leadership and not on my studies. This is not an episode wherein tuturuan ko kayo or sasabihin ko sa inyong wag na kayo mag-aral. I think school is great if you find, or college is great, and university is great if you find the right course for you na hindi nyo pagsisisihan. So ako, if I were to redo it, if I were to redo it, I don't have any regrets because I've built the best relationships in college. My best friends are in college and I wouldn't trade that for anything. And I learned a lot from my professors. Pero if I were to redo college lang, if first sem or second sem pa lang in engineering, I felt that I didn't belong, I would have changed my, nag-shift sana ako ng course to something that I'm really interested in, which would have been number one, interior designing, or number two, com arts. Yun talaga yung gusto ko. Or mass com. No? Yun talaga yung gusto ko. Pero, since I didn't do that because at that time, parang grabe lang yung judgment daw kapag nag-shift ka, according to my mom. So, she didn't want me to take that. And I was really lost. I was just, sige, gawin ko na. Magaling naman ako sa math. But I couldn't prove that in engineering. Makaka-relate talaga mga engineering students sa akin. Anyway, here are some things that I wish I knew when I was in college. Is that grades are important, but they don't guarantee success. Which means, while we aim to get good grades, and growing up, that was what was taught to us, to make sure na mataas dapat grades mo, maganda dapat grades mo para makuha mo yung mga opportunities na maganda, at saka pagka-graduate mo, maging maganda yung trabaho mo. Yes, that is true at a certain point, but it doesn't guarantee success because sabi ko nga kanina, when you enter in the professional setting, they don't just look at your transcript of records. Most companies don't even look at your cards, your GPA. They don't base hiring you based sa grades mo or kung cum laude ka or what, but actually your experiences in college. So yes, I think I made the right choice to join a lot of organizations and learn in my organization and eventually be a working student and learn everything outside of the classroom. Yun pa din talaga yun. No? Yun lang talaga yung point ko. Number two is leadership skills are practical. So like I mentioned earlier, I really wanted to learn skills that are practical in real life and could be useful in real life scenarios because I felt even before na bakit parang I remember nung high school pa lang ako, sinabi ng mom ko, huwag ka na mag-architect kasi may mga apps na ngayon na nagagamit that in the States, hindi na masyadong relevant mag-architect kasi you can do it on your own or something like that. Pero of course, until now, we still need good architects. We still need architects whenever we build buildings, anything of infrastructures. Pero nung sinabi niya yon, parang na-realize ko lang that okay, if ganun pala, di may chance din palang mawala lahat ng ginagawa ko. Like for example, right now, what's the threat to other courses? Chat GPT, diba? Yung pwede mong sabihin na baka mawalan ka ng trabaho kasi may chat GPT na. So kahit mag-college ka, mawala yung trabaho opportunities that are meant for you because meron ng AI, diba? May AI na tayo. Even graphic designers, even interior designing, lahat is available online. But if we learn practical skills, these are things that AI technology cannot learn. Leadership, coaching, mentoring, in the professional setting, AI can't do that, 'di ba? So that will be your ano, parang I wish I gave that as a tip for myself back then. But nung naisip ko kasi na, di pwede rin palang mawala yung course ko, pwede rin palang maging irrelevant ako at some point. But when I realized that, hindi, sino magle-lead dito sa mga tao na to? Sino magle-lead dito sa mga gumagawa or gumagamit ng apps na to? That's why I really um made sure that I have and garnered experiences that is related to leadership. Ayun. Next is ito. College is the best time to develop your leadership skills. Medyo meron akong hugot talaga dito because in college, totoo yung sinasabi nila, in college, kung magkamali ka sa leadership mo, students lang yan, orgs lang yan, that walang maapektuhang malaking kumpanya na let's say maglulose ng millions of dollars of money, but wala ka rin malulose, you're just on your own. You don't have dependents yet that will be affected should you make decisions na mali. And of course, in college, no, may mga pagdadaanan ka mga papers sa office that they really question. And now that I think about it, whenever we ask for events to be approved, yun yung isang way for them to actually minimize the ineffectiveness of your decisions as a college student because sila yung mas professional in that. And kaya nga sa college kasi mag-check talaga sa'yo, diba? And when you graduate, when you have work, sometimes it's ikaw na talaga magde-decide. Parang your manager or your leaders can't decide for you. Pero ikaw yung first line of decision that may eventually get a big effect in the company. So, importante talaga. And in college, madami kang mga mentors yan. Marami kang time na pwedeng matutong leadership through student mentors din, no? Which I actually really enjoyed. So in ISEC, my org back then, meron talaga kaming coach from another school. At that time, yung naging coach namin from UP and one from Ateneo. So, alam mo yun, yung parang how they did the things in their schools, in their organizations, they started to teach that to us as well. I think that really made me better in my leadership. That's when I also started reading books about success, about leadership. I learned about Simon Sinek maybe second year, third year college. I was already studying the Power of Why at that time and was pushing impact to people because I had mentors. And yes, people may look at you, especially mga matatanda, parang they would look at me and say, masyado kang ambisyosang bata. 'Di ba? And that's okay kasi student ka pa lang. So wala mawawala sa'yo kung maging ambisyosa ka. Number 4 is that employees are actually looking for leadership skills. As an employer myself, I like it when the people who apply to me have experience in leadership. And actually, yung main support people ko are from the same organizations. The same organization rather. ISEC, because I know that this organization actually really hones leaders. That's why I trust that whoever is given in my team, and if it's from ISEC, goods na agad yan. And ito, I wish I knew this in college because I was rushing things too much. Again, first year college, taking up a leadership role, asking how to be a leader. Second year, ganun din, up to before I graduated, is that developing leadership is a lifelong journey. And it's not just during college. When you get it, it's perfect. Yun na yun. You won't learn or you won't fail when you graduate. it will minimize the failures. Hopefully, you learn from failures that you don't repeat it again. However, it's a lifelong journey. Like every day, when you are in a professional setting, you learn leadership. You learn how to become a better leader, and you also develop self-leadership along the way. Kung wala ka naman nililid na tao, it's a lifelong journey. So, wag kang magmadali to learn that, or don't be too hard on yourself if you feel you are not yet a good leader, because you'll have the rest of your life to learn leadership. But again, starting early could be an edge for you. So, yun ang maganda, diba? That you can establish a strong foundation when you enter the professional world, because ever since in college, ang inaaral mo na leadership at hindi chemical or chemistry, physics, whatever, diba? So, yeah, leadership may be something that you feel is not for you, but at the end of the day, everyone is a leader because we lead ourselves on a day-to-day basis. Maybe you're not just putting energy on that. Maybe hindi mo pa lang siya nakikita that way, but you're actually already doing it. So if you are not yet aware and you became aware because of this episode, I hope you embrace leadership, because that's what you will apply in the real world, in the professional world. And ito lang, walang successful na tao na hindi leader. Even the most, especially the richest people in the world, they're all leaders. So check in, no? If there's a common denominator, they're all leaders. So you might as well study it, especially if you're in college right now. This is your sign to take leadership to your heart and to start making time to learn it as well, while you're getting good grades. And yeah, that's just the quick episode about leadership. I know if you're my professor back in college, you didn't really appreciate that I was focusing more on leadership, but I hope I make you proud if you get to listen to this episode, because that's what I use now and not what I learned in the classroom. So yun lang, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode and listening to my daily journal. I have prepared a lot of good episodes for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the weekend, and see you guys tomorrow again for another episode of the 21 Days of Bliss. Wish me luck. Follow my social media accounts at the School of Bliss on Instagram, the School of Bliss on Spotify. If you like this, please rate the podcast, because it helps me grow the podcast. And also, I have a community, the School of Bliss, on Facebook group. You can also join that. I hope to see you guys tomorrow, Sunday. So, gawin nating medyo reflective ang content bukas. See you guys. Bye!